What is happening, everyone? So today I'm going to do a couple of air layerings, but I'm going to pause it here and there, and it's going to be quicker for you guys to watch than it is for me to do. But I've got this Shigitatsu Sawa that I've displayed a couple times on the channel now, and as it's air layering season, I'm looking around all the trees I've got to see which ones would be ideal for air layering. So there's a couple reasons I would air layer a tree. The primary reason would be if it's congested in the middle, if there's too much twiggy growth going through the middle, to open up the space of that tree and make it, well, it improves the health of the tree as well if you do that, because you allow more light to get in to the tree, therefore feeding all of the leaves. So that'll be the first reason. Then second reason would be to make a bonsai tree from a cultivar that I think's a good prospect. Or maybe even a third one as well if it's a really rare one. I will attempt to air layer as well. Now it's worth noting, when you do air layer, not every tree will do as well on its own roots. So majority of these maples that you see have been grafted onto a rootstock that's a strong growing rootstock. Generally a small leaf green maple, mountain maple, palmatum, which grow very vigorously. But you know, you do get some cultivars that don't do so well on their own roots. And I'm learning this, well, I might be learning this at the moment with the Ariadne air layering that I did. It did root, it grew quite a lot of roots, but since putting them in a new pot after I cut the air layer off the tree, and have since then planted onto my allotment plot, the last 2 years now the leaves haven't come out properly. It could be a case that it's still healing, or still getting over the stress. I'll just keep my fingers crossed with that one. But yeah, I mean, you'll do cuttings, and if you experiment with that, cuttings and air layering, not all trees will do well on their own roots, so just make a note of that. So I'm going to get on with this. Reason I'm choosing this tree is 2 reasons. It's a lovely cultivar, and it's quite hard to come by, and there is a branch going through the middle here that I could literally use and create another tree, and it will open up the space of this tree as well. So I've put this blue marker onto where, there it is, onto where I'm going to air layer. I'm going to probably do it a bit higher up, give myself a bit more space from the other branches. So yeah, I'll continue the video again once I've got to a significant stage. Okay, at a significant stage here, so I've cut all the way around the circumference of the trunk there, and I've tied this bag at the base there. I'm going to try and wrap it around like a funnel. So what I need to do here, I still need to apply the rooting hormone. Okay, that should be enough. I'm gonna have to pause it again for this next bit. So I had complications getting the moss in, and I got sidetracked and forgot to press play and show you that part, but yeah, literally just showing you the end. I've gone from using like a reflective foil on the outside. That's what I used last time, and I'm using a black piece of material, plastic. It's like an old garden compost bag, and the reason I'm doing that is because the black colour will warm up more so obviously than the foil that I was using before. That will reflect the heat, and I think that's why some of my air layers were taking longer. So I'm experimenting with using black sheet this time. I expect it to be warmer in there while using this, so yeah. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next air layer. Which is this Manyo no Sato. I think is an absolute awesome tree. Every leaf is different. Really fascinating tree. And again, I'm looking to air layer this because if you look in the middle, you've got almost two separate competing branches. So you got, yeah, this one that's growing in. So I try to get it to focus. Anyways, this here also has three branches coming off of it, which will cause inverse taper as well. It's going to cause too much swelling in this area. So this thick branch is the one I'm going to air layer. I'm going to do it about there, and then, you know, it's going to open up the middle of the tree, so it's good all round really. So yeah, that's where I'm going to do that. Okay, so the cut's been made. I've made sure if there was any remaining cambium on the wood here, that I scraped it off. So if there's any light green substance there, that's the cambium. You need to scratch that off so you've got down to the wood. Otherwise it will heal over and the roots won't develop, because the cambium, if it's still running from this part to this part, it will just rejoin and callus over, and the tree will sort of heal itself without sending any roots there. So now it's in a situation where it's in distress, emergency mode if you like, and it needs to send roots there for survival. So you can also see the scratch marks like above here. I'm doing that to help encourage new roots to grow. This is the part where the new roots are going to come through at the top here. So I've done that. What I need to do next is apply the rooting hormone powder. Now I'm going to get that bag on, and I'll aim to show you a little bit more this time. Okay, so I've got the bottom of the bag secured, twisted that on. Just got to make sure, see this bit that's coming out here, got to make sure that goes on the inside of this piece. so it keeps it all airtight. Okay, there we go. There is the moss ball. The moss is not too wet, and it's not dry either. It's got to be moist. So if you think about having a sponge, if you can like wring water out of a sponge, it's probably too wet. But if it's not wringing out when you're squeezing it, but it's like wet to your hand, then that's about the right amount of moisture. So yeah, that's the moss ball. So I'm going to get the next outer sheet on now, this one here, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Just wanted to add, this part is definitely easier than the first part, because obviously you haven't got to hold all the moss together. So this is pretty straightforward. Yeah, just wrap it tight and do a tie at the bottom and the top. And there you have it. There is air layer number 2. It's taken me about 45 minutes to an hour to do both of those. But yeah, I hope you found this useful, and you can actually experiment yourself based on this information. I know that's how I learned. I started off studying Peter Chan's videos on Heron's bonsai. I learned a lot from him. A lot of this stuff that I know has come from him. But there's always things you can try yourself as well, because there's always more than one way. What works for one doesn't always work for another. So you just learn from other people, but still try your own things as well, I'd say. And you just never know. You might get a pleasant surprise one day. Well, hope you liked it. As usual, leave any comments, and yeah, I'll get back to you. Have a good day.